And we're back with more of the Shacknews Awards 2023. We're on to a category that I believe we invented, right? Anyone else handing out an award like this? Probably not. Every year that the Nintendo Switch has been around, we have been like, you know what should be on Switch? This game, that game, this game. And over time, we tend to be pretty prescient with these awards. Tetris Effect has won this in the past. Uh, Rocket League, I believe, had won this in the past. There's a lot of games that weren't on Switch that are now. I think even Fortnite was nominated one year before it released over there on the Switch. So yeah, we're gonna speak another game's port over to Nintendo Switch into existence here. Here are the nominees: Pizza Tower, Humanity, Baldur's Gate 3, Cities Skylines 2, System Shock Remake, and Viewfinder. Uh, TJ, I know you've streamed Pizza Tower on Indielicious. Why should Pizza Tower be on Switch? I mean,
Because it's like a
why
perfect
shouldn't
it's such a perfect platformer for that system. Like it's low storage space, just good running, collecting things, chasing your way through levels, trying to figure out the best paths through them design. And I would play the heck out of that game. And the modular level design is super good too. Like the way that you can jump into a level from an overworld and just like see your time, see what kind of bonuses there are for you and what you haven't collected from that level. Jump in, play around with it, and then be done for a sec. Pizza Tower is kind of shocking that it's not on Switch already because like it looks like a Switch game from the outset. It's got we've mentioned that it has a lot of Wario inspirations in it, but it also kind of harkens back to that old school 1990s Sega Genesis gross games era,
Mhm.
and it's so good the way they do like their facial animations on any one of the characters. Just like every one of the characters in this game looks like they're having a mental breakdown on some level.
Yeah, the sprite work is like outstanding across the board. The enemies, but also the main character and like the leg animation, the hat, like the eyes, everything about the character animations in this game is outstanding.
Yeah, and I love that the level is like a twofold thing where you have to get in and achieve a goal and then escape before like this grim reaper like entity chases you down and murders you. It's so frantic at every part of its at every stage of its gameplay.
Hmm.
And I love it. It was easily one of my favorite indies I played this year, and it's like a crime that this game is not on the Switch, where I can just take it with me wherever I feel like going.
And you
Hmm.
know, the thing is, like, we talk about all the things it has in common with Wario Land. Do you know what's not on Switch? An actual Wario Land game, an actual new Wario Land game. So why shouldn't this be on Switch? You know,
Yeah.
get some Wario Land presence on that console.
Yep. I agree. They really have seemed to put Wario over just in mini game hell, and I would like to see a mainline Wario's Woods or like some kind of 2D side-scrolling Wario game would be cool. Unless anyone else has things to say about Pizza Tower, we should move on to our next nominee. Humanity. It's just a matter of time until this game releases on Nintendo Switch, right? Like Enhance and Nintendo have a good relationship. We've seen Tetris Effect connected get ported to Switch. So I do think that we will see Humanity someday on a Nintendo console. But yeah, if it's an enhanced game and it's not on Switch, you're gonna hear me asking about it. And here we are. Because the game's great. It's like a 3D Lemmings with people and a Shiba Inu spirit dog guiding people, and the different gameplay mechanics that are introduced, the way that they're introduced, the fact that you can make your own puzzles in this and upload them for the community to try out has been awesome. Uh, the humanity's Twitter account has done like a really good job of highlighting community levels and kind of keeping the game in the discussion. It's one of my favorite puzzle games, not just this year, maybe ever. And I think that the folks at Enhance and the studio that specifically developed this, like, they have this amazing way of tying every element of game design together. Audio design, gameplay mechanics, tactile feedback through Rumble, and music. Like the way that all those systems interact with each other in Humanity is awesome. Yeah, and it's just unique, different challenges. It's one of those. I would say a good puzzle game should make you feel like an idiot to the point where you quit, walk away from it for 30 minutes, and come back, and then in that time, something unlocked in your brain, and you just get it. I love puzzle games that are like that, and Humanity was like that for me. Love this game, and it definitely should be on Switch. It's insane that it isn't, but it is graphically pretty impressive. So I think when it comes to porting games to Switch, it's not as easy as clicking a drop-down menu in Unreal Engine that says port to Switch. There's a lot of assets that have to be recreated and stuff. So I think that's probably why it wasn't a simultaneous launch. But I do hope to see it on Switch. Sorry, TJ, you were about to say something?
Oh, just like I agree with you that like the sheer amount of humans that pop out of that portal that just walk around, whether it's around in the directions you gave them or off the screen, feels like that would probably be the biggest challenge, right? Is stuffing that many fluid moving parts into a Switch game and making it stay on good frame rate.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the challenge, but Tetris Effect is also visually stunning, and they figured it out over time. I just think it's additional work to have a game launch simultaneously on Switch in 2023 with these new consoles and with PC. So that is a challenge, and boy, we got a heck of a laugh out of Sven Winky when we interviewed him at PAX.
Yeah.
And Greg, you asked him straight up, "What about Baldur's 3? Baldur's Gate
did
3
you ever
on
consider
Switch?"
it to be on the Switch? And he didn't give me a no. He just said it would be a lot of work. That's what he said.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. But
I mean,
I would love to see it.
F-Zero
It's
can't have a
probably
new
not.
game this year. Anything is possible.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably not possible in current Switch hardware. Who knows what the future holds? But I don't know. For me, the spirit of this award, at least the way I interpret it, it's implied in my nominations at least that like there's a way it runs on Switch. Like some magician out there
Yeah.
of hardware finds a way to make it run.
Or Panic Button, or Iron
Yeah.
Galaxy, one of those studios that's really good at porting could figure it out, maybe.
Assuming someone could figure it out, Baldur's Gate 3 is like a hands down would be an amazing game to have on Switch. I mean, people bought Steam Decks to be able to play Baldur's Gate 3 away from their computers and have that game on the go. So yeah, having that on a Switch would be chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not going to happen in this generation of the Switch, but maybe Super Nintendo Switch will get it. So there's hope out there. I can't wait for this category to just naturally shift to games that should be on Super Nintendo Switch. We're probably about a year or two out from that, but in the meantime, boy, are there some good games that I would love to see on Switch. This next nominee is one of them. City Skylines 1 is on Switch. Now, it may not be the best way to play it, but it is the only way to really, I guess now there's a Steam Deck solution, but it's a portable way of playing City Skylines, and at the time, it was the only way to play it portably. It became like my game on plane trips. Like I would just fire up City Skylines, look down, I look up, and oh, we've landed. City Skylines 2 has that same sort of time dilation effect when you're playing it. It's a great, it was nominated for PC Game of the Year here at the Shacknews Awards. It's very fun to play it on PC. It even has its own performance problems there right now. So one can't really imagine how this thing would run on Switch today, but I still want it. And that's what this is about, right? We want these games to be on Switch. So City Skylines 2 is my nominee. I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in a little bit about it.
Yeah, like since you've been talking about City Skylines 1 on Switch, it's it's something I really want to try because I love City Skylines in general and being able to take I've actually been trying to find a good city builder on mobile phones and it's been a little bit of a challenge to find a decent one.
Hmm.
And so I think the solution at some point is just to break down and put City Skylines on my Switch because why go with something less than the best? Even if it doesn't have like a great rate, you've said it before. I was like, that's not what we go to City Skylines for. We
No.
go to City Skylines to create the metropolis of our dreams, and
Or to
and
flood some land with poo water and then raise it and then build an elementary school there and name it Poo Water Elementary. Like that's why we play City Skylines.
yeah, watch our dreams become a nightmare for all the citizenry that are living there.
Just
But
you can overflow the river with poop. I just want to let people know that, it happens.
It
But
happens.
yeah, and when I think about all those things and I think about how much fun and how many hours I've pulled into City Skylines 1 and how much I'm getting into City Skylines 2, hell yes, I would love to have that with me in a way I can take wherever I want to go and fiddle with
Mhm.
whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, because all those like iterative updates that they brought from Cities 1 and the mods to Cities 2 are desperately needed for Switch 2. Like we would love to have those things because the mod system didn't work, right? There were no mods. There are no mods on Switch games that aren't pirated, right? So like it's it was one of those things where it did feel like a lesser version because it didn't have the optionality. Like you can download Canton, Ohio as a map, as a mod in Cities 1. I couldn't do that in for Switch. So like those are the little things where I think now that it's the second version of the game and they put things like the road protractor in, like all these the better traffic AI, all these things are now in the game in the cities too, that weren't present before. So yeah, I I'm just yeah, I want it. I want it. Get on it. Smart people, get to work. I've said this for a while. There's not enough first person shooters on Switch. And I know it's not the best platform necessarily to play online multiplayer shooters, but single player FPS games, I think could find a home on Switch. Id Software has been doing a decent job of porting their games over there. Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 are on Switch. But yeah, we had a game come out this year, System Shock Remake, that we want on Switch. Period. End of story. Thank you, Night Dive. Get to work on it. But we talked about it in other categories. But yeah, go ahead, TJ.
And if anyone could probably do it, it would have to be Night Dive because those guys are
Yeah,
wizards at making the software that they create work on whatever they want to put it on. They are not novices when it comes to porting games over to places where they haven't been before. And if anything, they're one of the most stellar ones out there that do it. Like Night Dive has a lot of dedication to this stuff and making sure it works. And like System Shock Remake took a long time for them to build because they built it from the ground up. But I would love, even if it was like a pared down version, even if it had to take some hits on the visuals to make it to Switch, I would have full confidence in Night Dive's ability to handle it.
yeah. And I just think there need to be like I think Metroid Prime Remastered showed that you can make a retro style shooter remaster or remake run well on Switch. It just requires a lot of work, and I know that System Shock Remake was like crowdfunded at one point, so they had to do right by their funding goals. But yeah, at this point, when the game's already out and successful, I would love to see it come to Switch. Uh, but yeah, let's move on. Our last nominee game that should be on Switch is Viewfinder. Ozzy, I think you have things to say about this.
Yeah. So Viewfinder is a puzzle game that's all about you're going from level to level, and you're powering up machines to kind of take you through these simulated landscapes. And to help you get around and to help you find the batteries to power these machines, you have to get across some long gaps. What you do is you take a photograph that's placed along an easel, you hold it up, and then suddenly when you put it down, there's a platform and you can just get across. I think this would be a really cool idea to put on Switch. And not just in that you can play it on, on your TV and everything. There's an application that you can do with the handheld mode where you could just maybe
Yeah.
use handheld to hold up the picture and then just calibrate your platforms and just go that way. Like I think there's a potential in the viewfinder concept and putting it on Switch.
So you're saying like you could do something with the gyro in
Yes. That
so
there's a mechanical way you can make this work. That has me really interested in seeing what they can do with this.
yeah.
That's a pretty creative nomination because as soon as you started talking about it, I was thinking of the gyro controls, which I know we poop on usually, but like for viewfinder specifically, that
That
actually
would
be pretty
fit.
cool.
It would
Yeah.
fit. Like, yeah, I think that's been what's really strange about the Switch generation is that yeah, it has the gyroscope in it. Yeah, it has the Joy-Con that you can use for motion controls, but so many games don't even consider it. And like
The-
the other thing that the Switch has that I rarely see anyone use ever is the touch screen as an input device. Like it's a touchscreen device, and like barely any games actually use that. You can't even navigate through most games menus using the touchscreen. So it's just kind of interesting that, like, to your point, Ozzy, that like this is a very unique use case for the Switch hardware, where this would be a different experience than it is on a flat screen TV or on a computer. So yeah, I think
this
it's a great nominee.
this category has gotten a little more complicated with the
Yeah,
introduction of the Steam Deck because
yeah.
now you can play just about anything handheld.
Hmm.
So to say that something should be on Switch should go the extra mile and do the things that the Switch can do that no other platform can. And I think that's what makes Viewfinder such a good nomination for this.
Hmm. But at the same time, it's also about the 132 million Switches out there, and that those people need games. And we just want all the games to be on all the places. We understand that first party titles exist, but yeah, I think some of these third party titles, you go back to like Wii, and the third party software on Wii by years whatever, later in that cycle was uninspired and not great. Like the games that we're talking about here are all excellent third party titles that are on other platforms that we'd like to see on Switch. But and that most of them we think could run. Some of them may require some
Baldur's
magic.
Gate 3 will be a challenge, but
Yeah.
like it's possible.
Yeah. And they've had success now, so maybe they can afford a porterhouse for that or something, or I don't know.
I
Uh,
bet you if you give it to someone like Iron Galaxy, they can make it work.
Yeah. They had what the Diablo 2 port or
Iron
remaster.
Galaxy also did Skyrim, and they
Mm,
made Skyrim play really well.
mhm. So yeah, it's not impossible. And to Greg's point earlier, F-Zero 99 came out this year, so anything could happen, you know. So let's vote. What do you say? You want to vote? Let's vote. Steve, host of the Steve Tendo Show. I feel like I should start with you as the patron saint of Nintendo here. What
Ah,
game do you think should be on Switch?
this is a tough one for me. I'm torn between Pizza Tower and Baldur's Gate. If Baldur's Gate can run on the Switch, I want Baldur's Gate. So I am going with Baldur's Gate 3.
That's sound logic. Ozzy.
I almost muted myself. I think I want to stick with my viewfinder vote, but at the same time, like the lack of an official Wario Land title on Switch irks me, and I would like at least even a non-official one. So I'm gonna go with Pizza Tower.
Okay. TJ.
City Skylines 2. I really, 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 really want that city builder on a mobile platform. I need it. I want to take it with me wherever I want to go.
Nice. Greg.
Pizza Tower.
Oh, wait. Donovan.
I will go with Cities 2. Yeah.
David.
Pizza Tower.
Okay. We got some absentee ballots here, right? Bill voted for Cities Skylines 2. Let's see. Do we have a vote from Sam or Denny for this? Let's see.
I want to say every time Donovan convinced me to go one way, he goes against it. So it's like every time in this deliberations, Donovan has convinced me to go one direction, and then he decides to not vote for that.
Look,
So,
my thought process not voting for BG3 is that, I mean, it already there already exists a way to play it on mobile, like with Steam Deck, and I think that's, I don't know. I think that game plays best on a keyboard and mouse. So
I
I-
get it. It's like
would-
this is like the third or fourth time you convinced me to go one direction, and now you've changed it.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
Sam
never let me know
voted
your
for
next move.
Sam voted for Baldur's Gate. So I am the decider here. Pizza Tower or man, I want both of these games on Switch. I want all of these games on Switch. If I really wanted to be chaotic, I would pick Baldur's Gate, and then we would all have to revote over 3 games. But that would be dumb. And deep down, I'm surprised humanity did not, like, given where humanity's placing in some of our other categories, I'm shocked that no one voted for it here.
I think it's because we actually expect humanity to be on Switch by this time next year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's probably a 1-year timed exclusive kind of thing. It wasn't. Humanity's on Xbox and PlayStation, right?
PlayStation and PC.
Oh, so it's
Yeah,
not
it
on
is
Xbox
not on
either.
Xbox.
Okay, so this is similar to how they rolled out Tetris Effect then.
Right.
Okay.
It's also kind of hard for me to vote for humanity in this particular category because I prefer to play it in VR. Like, I like playing that game in VR.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower should be on Switch. You look at that game, and you're like, how is this not on Switch? Like Cities 2, that's going to require a lot of work to get it to run on Switch.
They're having enough trouble getting it to run on PC.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm not in a rush to get Cities 2 on Switch because I have Cities 1 on Switch, and I have a very nice town that I've been working on there, and it's mighty fine. So I can wait. But Pizza Tower, like, I want that on my desk this Friday on Switch. Like, enough. What are we doing here?
Every year, there's at least one nomination in this category that I'm like, wait, that's not on Switch already. Like, I have to like double check and look at the eShop, and Pizza Tower is probably that game. So
Pizza Tower is definitely that game.
It's a fair pick.
So congratulations to Pizza Tower. You are our game that should be on Switch of the year 2023 at the Shacknews Awards.